Hey there, Lynne and Joseph are back, and we are going to be bringing you a new video on the Q2 stats. So every quarter when it wraps up, we love to bring you what our market has just reflected, are the most recent numbers. And you know, the message is not that different. As you know, or if you don't know, we have a YouTube channel. We've been doing a bunch of different videos, and we're talking about so many different things real estate related. And honestly, right now, the message isn't changing a ton, but it's good to go over what the most recent numbers are telling us. And so we're going to talk about 4 things, which is kind of what we focus on typically. And Joseph and I are just going to break it down and give you kind of some explanations of how we think that should play into whether you're a buyer, a seller, investor, or just want to know where your house stands in the market. So the 4 things we're going to talk about are the year-to-date sales, the median sales price, the median list price to sales price, and then your days on market. All those play into kind of what's the landscape of our market right now. So Joseph, tell us a little bit, because right now the sales are up 5% year-to-date, 8% for the whole quarter. Is that actually a big jump, or is that just normal seasonal movement?
Well, it's a big jump in the quarter. I think, you know, these first 2 stats, the sales and the median price, is really more market health, right? What we're talking about. The second 2 are if you're a buyer or seller. But it's a big jump, quarter over quarter. We haven't seen that in a while yet. Because we're 5% over the year, what that means is that actually we were flat Q1.
Yeah.
So maybe we're making up for some lost time. It's hard to see. We'll see what Q3 brings in there, but it was a big jump.
Yeah. And right now we have about 2.6 months of supply, which just means we're in a healthy place.
Yeah.
That we don't really spend too much time on that, but doesn't surprise us, because we actually have found that we are staying a little bit more in a seller's market, even though the message doesn't seem to be. Tell us more.
Yeah, I mean, everybody thinks that we've moved to a buyer's market because everyone's still hungover from what was happening in 2021 and 22. So, but mathematically speaking, we're actually in a seller's market. We have about 2.6% or 2.6 months of inventory, which is honestly across all price points. So it is a seller's market, but it is getting more close to a buyer's market, or excuse me, a balanced market for sure.
Let's go to that chart you love, that it shows us what was happening in 2021, or 20 and 21. So if you look at that gigantic spike, look at the stability that we've seen since then, and that's really what we want to focus on, because we cannot sustain that one spike that we're seeing, right? So what are the last few months or the last year telling us?
Yeah, so this goes to median sales price. So as we see, and we'll look at this chart first, we'll actually go to the median sales price and we're seeing about median sales prices up really 0.5%, not that much. So, but if we jump to this one that Lynn was talking about, it really does over time what we are looking at. And when you look at only a 5 or a 0.5% increase year over year in median sales price, that's not super healthy, right? We want a good steady 4%. But if you actually look at the right-hand side of this chart, over the last 24 months, we've seen right around that 4 to 5% mark of appreciation in values. That's healthy. The challenge is 21, as we've seen here, 22% increase of price. That's too much. Yeah. That's too much.
It's not sustainable.
It's caused problems, right? It caused problems then, it's causing problems now for some people. Now, the good news is, and we talked about this earlier, is we've actually seen this market report in 4 different markets now, here, Greenville, Columbia, and Charlotte. And we're really the only one that has had no red over the last 6 years, right? We haven't really seen a year over year decrease in median sales price. Now, this is metro. Certain neighborhoods may have seen that, and that's why it's super important to actually dive in a little deeper.
Yeah, so the chart you were on earlier and a little while ago, the median price is up to $488,000. That's about 0.5%. Now, do you feel that's healthy growth, or does that feel stalled?
No.
And I use the word stalled loosely, because I think also when you say stalled, we're still reflecting on that gigantic jump.
Yeah, I think it's stalled. I'll be curious to see, because it's weird to have that kind of flatness when you had such a large 8% growth.
Right.
So it's still a little wonky, right? I had a really good friend of mine who runs another brokerage here in town. He literally, we had coffee this week, the first thing he said is like, hey, when you get a chance, can you explain to me what the heck happened in June? Right? It is a little weird market with having that big spike in the number of homes sold, but not see the prices do the same.
All right, so let's talk about how this applies to buyers and sellers currently. You know, let's talk about risk tolerance. what I don't love, and we're going to unpack this, is we're seeing a lot more price reductions. Now, this chart that we're showing you, if you look, you'll see that 45.3% of sales had a price reduction. What that means is 55% did not. So we want to be really clear on the fact that price reductions, while showing up more predominantly, they're not the only way you sell your house. And I have to say that. We really don't want you to have a price reduction. And we're going to tell you why in a minute. But go ahead and unpack that, Joseph.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have said it better, right? It's like 50. Everybody talks about who did that, who had to do price reductions. Nobody talks about who didn't. Right.
Yeah.
And the thing is over half the market didn't have to do a price reduction. Like, that to me should be the news headline, but it's not doom porn. So we're not putting it out there. Right.
Yeah.
It's like everybody's talking about all these things. 55. That's, by the way, that's over 2,000 homes that closed in Q2 didn't have to do a price reduction. They closed. And the results were strong.
Sorry. We want you to be in that category. Sorry. The
results are strong. Yeah. Right. I mean, then they got their money. So,
yeah. And so going back to that whole, when sellers say to us, I'm not in any rush to sell, I think that's the wrong statement, or the right real estate advisors will move that from that conversation to, but how much do you want to net? Because what the stats show us is price reductions equal, I often say, 2 negotiations. The first one is with yourself because you didn't get a contract. And the second one is with the buyer after they've seen you sitting there for a little bit.
Yeah, and that's what these next two charts actually talk about. So the first one is, like Lynn said, is you're negotiating twice, which I actually think is a great way to put it. Is the first time because again, if you're not in the market, you have to do a price reduction. And what this first chart tells you is that if you had to do a price reduction, we said earlier that you're getting 97.5% of list price to sales price. Nobody's actually getting that. There are people, the 55% who did not have to do a price reduction. They're actually, as you can see here, getting 100% of list price to sales price, right? The people who had to do a price reduction, it's actually dropping to 93.1%. That's a summary, by the way. If you look at each individual price point here, that's the crazy one. But here's what Lynn was talking about. You do have to negotiate twice, which is why this number drops so much, because a lot of people will say, well, great advice, Lynn, I'm still going to price up here, but then when I get to the right price, then I'll get that number. That's not what happens.
Getting to the right price is the negotiation with yourself.
That's the first one. But then what happens, what this stat tells you, like before you're thinking, oh, I'll get 100% of my price. No, what this stat tells you is you actually, again, no price reduction, 100%. If you had to do a price reduction, you actually then have to reduce again to actually close. And none of, with the exception of the two lower price points, none of them got 100% of what they reduced their listing price to, right? All of them are showing that they then had to negotiate again.
Yeah, so that becomes the most glaring conversation is you want to look at what the houses around you are doing. And if you're seeing price reductions and long days on market, don't make that your normal.
No.
Try to be better than that, because our goal is to pull out the most out of the asset. And when you have to reduce your price, when you start that reduction slippery slope, it will take sometimes 14 times longer to sell. That's 3 extra months. What does that cost you? Not only in carrying costs, emotional costs. So these stats are still showing us that you're going to need to price right immediately from the beginning in order to achieve the right goals that you've been looking for, right?
Yeah.
And here's a number that scares people. You hear, oh gosh, the days on market are up 23%. What is the real story there?
Well, I mean, first of all, it's talking about the overall, right? But I mean, 23%, it went from 26 days to 32 days. So you jump by 6 days. Okay, so that's not,
right.
It's 6 days. However, that's everyone. Now let's break it down again. For those 55% of them that didn't have to do a price reduction, they actually didn't go up. They actually are still getting their home under contract in about 7 days. 7.
Yeah.
Everybody's hearing this a long time. But here's the scary number. Look at all the gray ones. Those are the ones that if they had to do a price reduction, the overall goes from 7 to 96. You went from getting a contract in a week, not even having to make a mortgage payment before you got the contract, to having to make 3. That's a big deal.
That is a big deal.
Yeah, and not only do you have 3 months worth of carrying costs, you've got 3 months of people schlepping people through your houses, strangers coming through your houses, judging you, looking at everything, and it's tiring.
Yeah, it is tiring. And if you look at the bottom of that, you'll see also this is broken down in price points. And if I haven't already said it, we can get all these charts and stats and graphs to you. All you have to do is comment in our comment section of the YouTube channel, because wherever you are, because obviously Charleston has a big range of numbers, this is very specific to the price point. So sometimes 96 might look good because one of these reflects a 109-day jump. So
161 if you're spending a few $1 million on your house.
Yeah, so so you have to just be real, and you have to have the right conversations and the right questions. Okay, let's see. The next thing is about the failed and overpriced listings, right? So 23.2% listings failed to sell into this entire quarter. That means that they are coming back on the market, or they're showing up as expireds. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, that just is what we talked about, are the ones that not only had to do a price reduction to sell. That's not your only option. Sometimes your option is you don't sell, right? And we
don't want that for you.
Yeah, I mean, out of the homes that came on the market, 23 I mean, that's almost a quarter.
Yeah,
that's big. I mean, that's a big number. It is actually, ironically, a little bit down from last year across the board, which I do think means that sellers are getting a little bit more realistic on their pricing.
Yeah, and another thing that we want to point out is, back on the buyer side of things, these stats are really helpful for you if you don't want to pay full price. Now, this is kind of a sobering statement, but we have to say it, that if you have a buyer who is like, I want to get a deal this year, you're going to have, that real estate agent needs to go pull all homes that have been sitting there for about 60 days or getting to that mark, because that's when those double negotiations are going to start.
Yeah,
they may be panicking a little bit, and so these graphs are so important for you to also determine where you want to hit the market in order to either buy wisely, get a deal, or get your home sold quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you had to boil everything down in one sentence, and we've said from the beginning, nothing's really new, but with these new stats, how would you sum it up in one sentence?
Well, I'm going to go, like we talked about this earlier. Our friend Leslie Peters, she had a great quote. It's buyers will pay 100% for accuracy. So
pricing accuracy,
right? Which, by the way, means sellers, buyers, you should pay 100% for pricing accuracy, right? If a home is priced correctly, pay for it.
Yeah, because other buyers also will see that. And there's a strategy of trying to price so well that you have buyers chasing you, not the other way around.
Right.
So smart buyers who know and are seeing these reductions getting to that number, they're hitting the ones that are getting it right the first time.
One more thing I would say, if we didn't say this already, was it's the price, not the house.
Right.
Buyers are rejecting your price, not your house. And that's what, by the way, if you're a buyer, there's nothing wrong with the house if it's sitting.
Right.
It's the price.
Yeah, so this should be encouraging. Okay, so there are going to be people watching this video right now who did have a home that maybe didn't sell, or they are right now looking at maybe more days on market. So here's the good news. You can fix that and understand it's not emotion, it's logic, and it's all about the pricing. Buyers are getting so much more savvy, and a lot more, they're fatigued with the numbers, especially in our area. So that kind of sums up what our Q2 looks like. And so anything that you want from this, if you want to contact us, have us do a consultation on maybe where yours sits, we are so happy to do that. That's the whole point. Send this video to someone else who may be thinking of the same thing, and comment if you want these slides, and we'll be happy to send them to you.
Absolutely.
So have a great day, and we hope to hear from you.
Take care.
Hey.